Picture a morning with no alarm clock, no phone, no office. Just a warm hide by a glowing fire and a beam of sunlight slowly creeping across a face. A person wakes up on their own, when the body is ready, not when a bell goes off. Around the camp, the day comes to life. Someone gathers firewood, someone tends the fire, a child runs past. This is how mornings began, tens of thousands of years ago. No resumes, no interviews, no career ladder. Between this campfire and an office desk lie tens of thousands of years. So what did people actually do all day if there were no jobs? It's tempting to imagine constant danger, panic, hunger, a fight for survival every minute. And yes, dangers were real, but most days looked very different. Making tools, caring for children, simple routines. No badge, no boss, no clock to punch. It all started with simple needs, hunger, and someone goes to gather berries, repair a spear, fetch water, keep the fire going. There was no single job title. The same person could be a hunter, a parent, a craftsman, and a friend all in the same day, depending on what needed doing. Nobody walked around with a badge that said Senior Spear Manager, though it would have been funny. Everyone knew a little of everything, and these roles flowed freely between people. Sharing food, helping a neighbor, warning each other of danger, none of this was work. It was just life. And out of all this grew an invisible web of trust that held the whole group together. Big decisions were made together. The group would gather around the fire and trade news, where animal tracks were spotted, where fruit had ripened, where rain might be coming. Anyone could speak up. Decisions came out of conversation, not from orders handed down. Mornings moved at an easy pace, breakfast of berries and meat, talk around the fire. And right there in the dirt, a simple plan took shape. A line for the river, marks for footprints, two paths forward, one group heading out to hunt, the other staying behind to keep the camp running. While some set off into the forest with spears, tracking signs of game, the others stayed by the fire, sharpening stone tools, scraping hides, twisting plant fibers into cord. Nearby, children played, pretending to hunt with sticks and pebbles. That was learning too, with no school bell and no grades. Out in the forest, the hunters moved slowly, reading footprints, broken branches, bent grass. A person was small and slow next to predators and fast game, but they had something the animals didn't: a group, a mind, and generations of accumulated knowledge. Sometimes the hunt came up empty, and the three returned tired and empty-handed as the sun went down. But back at camp, food was waiting anyway, shared among everyone, no matter who brought back what. Sharing food today meant help would come back tomorrow, an invisible exchange that people remembered for a long time. Who helped and who didn't shaped a person's reputation long before resumes and references existed. And then there was free time. To a modern eye, it might look like doing nothing, people sitting in the shade, watching birds, listening to the wind, but this wasn't idleness. Paying attention to nature could save your life. A sudden silence in the forest, or a flock of birds bursting into the sky could warn of danger before you ever saw it. In their spare hours, hands found other uses. A plain spear became a spear carved with patterns. Bones were etched with simple geometric lines, just because they looked good. Shells, teeth, and stones were strung into beads. Archaeologists have found ornaments like these that are tens of thousands of years old at sites like Blombos Cave in South Africa. Caves in France and Germany still hold painted animals on their walls, and bone flutes more than 30,000 years old. Food, decoration, music, art on a wall, all of it mattered, equally. In the evenings by the fire, another part of life began. An elder told stories about the hunt, about dangerous plants, about the rules the group lived by. Children listened, asked questions, learned to tell what was safe to eat from what wasn't. Laughter, arguments, memories, plans for tomorrow, it all happened right here, around one fire. This is how knowledge passed from one generation to the next, long before books, schools, or written laws. But around 10,000 years ago, things began to change. People learned to grow their own food. Fields of young crops appeared in different parts of the world. Villages grew. Harvests had to be gathered, stored, guarded. For the first time, there was surplus, and with it, a new question. Who does it belong to? Someone planted a marker in the ground. This is mine. Arguments broke out over sacks of grain. Leaders appeared, guards appeared, rules got written down. And work started to split apart. One person shapes pots, another weaves cloth, another guards the storehouse, another keeps track of debts on a notched stick. Step by step, from planting to storage to ownership markers to leaders, a chain formed that eventually led to the job as we know it today. Now, back at our camp by the fire, life goes on much as it always has. Spears get repaired, roots and berries are gathered, a broken tool is bound back together with cord. Children play near the fire under watchful eyes, and the elder tells stories again, this time about the hunt and about plants to avoid. In a torch-lit cave, someone traces the outline of an animal on the rock. By day, there's rest in the shade of a tree and a fire that burns low and steady. Someone looks out at the horizon, the forest, the river, the clouds, with the same question we started with. What if there had been jobs here too? In the evening, the whole group gathers again in a circle around the fire and a shared meal, sharing food, songs, jokes, warnings, the thread that holds everyone together. From a campfire, through fields and villages, to an office tower, it's all one long road, tens of thousands of years long. So next time you glance at the clock on the wall, remember the job is a fairly recent invention. But the need to share, to care for one another, and to belong to a group, that's been with us from the very beginning.